some good news, right? This is a beautiful video. Caption reads, LL Cool J's wife, Simone, speaks about their 29-year marriage. Congratulations to them. 29 years married. I'm married to a sex symbol. So this is a great transition from that crazy shit we just saw to someone who is successfully married. Let's check it out.
Marriage itself has its challenges, but you got to have God first. You got to stay on your knees praying. I'm married to a sex symbol. You know, growing up, when we first got together, I mean, you know, I've had my times where I would be going off and, you know, mad at this one because they looked at him this way. And, you know, but that was years ago. Todd and I got married in 95. His cousin, Marion, gave me this book called The Power of a Praying Wife. We have a tendency of praying and being like, Lord, change him. Lord, make him this way. Lord, make him that way. But the first thing that I read in that book was that you have to change yourself. You can't change nobody. You can have standards and you can have boundaries and all of that, but you can't change anybody. You can change yourself. And that's what I did. I changed myself.
What did you need to change about yourself?
Being flipped with the mouth all the time, going off about this, going, you know, just like...
Being an around the way girl.
Yeah, being an around the way girl. Right, exactly. And as you get older, you mature. I got to a point where women will come up to me and they'll be like, oh my God, your husband is so fine. And I'll be like, girl, I know. I think I could get a picture with him. Sure, go ahead, go and ask him for a picture. Just don't be disrespectful. The disrespect, I can't deal with.
Right.
The disrespect, I'm at
Take
54.
off the hoops at that point.
54, I'm ready to take off the hoop. I didn't feel the need to have to be every place with Todd. I didn't feel like I needed to travel with him everywhere to
We know what's coming. We know what's coming. We already know, and you're going to see it.
keep my eye on him and all of that stuff because I was very confident in our relationship and in our marriage. And at the end of the day, if somebody gonna fool around, they gonna fool around, right? What I did as a woman was that I made my house a home because home is where the heart is at. The closer you get to God, the more you understand who God is in your life is the more you're going to understand who you are and what your purpose is. Marriage itself.
It makes sense. When you hear the wives talk, it makes sense. And you know what? This is nice. You know, because I know a lot of the times there's a lot of toxicity that's focused on because the world, especially dating right now, is highly toxic and people go through a lot. So it's nice to see this. And trust me, guys, I understand, right, that the only measurement for successful marriage is whether people divorce or not, right? And this is like, if you really think about it, it's very difficult because I know someone can easily say, well, how do you know it's successful? That's the thing, right? It's just relationships and marriages are one of those things where based on who you ask, they can look and say, well, that wouldn't be a successful marriage to me. Why? Knowing my man's out there around a bunch of women or me taking on that submissive role, that's not what I want. To me, I'm miserable in that situation. So that's not success. Okay, cool. I hear you. You can say that, right? You can go around and ask people to define what they think a marriage should be and ask every woman what they think a perfect marriage is. And they all want 7 foot tall men. You know, it's like, yeah, that's success. However, the true metric are two people who believe that the other person is bringing to the marriage what they need and value within that relationship, right? And I don't see a lot of headlines and drama from these two. I'm not saying that they're probably perfect. We know nobody is, right? Anything can happen at any time to anybody. But isn't it nice to hear some good news? And I want to focus on the good news first because I know when we hit those comments.
No, I'll have a tea actually.
Let's check it out. Let's see. All right, here we have some comments here. Top comment says, these are the women y'all should be listening to. Successful women in successful marriages. Okay, pleasantly surprised. Is this the shade room? All right. Coffee in the comments. Somebody else here says, she grew, she matured, she learned to pick her battles while not accepting disrespect. I don't know her, but I love her. Do you know what the beautiful phrase is in that comment? I don't know her. Oh, man. Why don't you know her? Because she's not attention hungry. She's not trying to be in the spotlight. She's living her life and doesn't feel the need to cause some drama, to build a brand off him. I'm just saying, we see the consistent themes of the male celebrities, especially, who get with chicks for some, and they want to use their clout and they want to leverage their spotlight to push their own brand and personal, perspective. They're not taking that helpmate role. Somebody else who says she had to accept the cheating and forgive the end. I mean, probably. Why? Because the same person who she used to be, that loud or maybe easily turned up type of woman, he was probably learning some things when he was younger, right? New to fame, so on and so forth. So this is why a lot of these chicks, man, who chase after these men, and if a modern woman would have been with someone like LL Cool J, they would have probably spent the majority of their marriage trying to catch him cheating, being a professional detective. When I say, hey, you want to avoid the men who you dream about, because there are other women dreaming about that man and doing whatever they can to take him away from you. Somebody else who says, whispers, I mean, he ain't no method man. You see, now they're over here hating in the comment section, talking about he ain't no method man. This female commenter says, women with men in the industry are strong. That's gotta be bittersweet. Yeah. But it's not only in the industry. That's a thing that I think a lot of chicks today don't understand, right? It's the men who you say you want. The men who you all are praying for are the same men who other women want. And it comes with its own battles. That's not justifying that man should cheat. He shouldn't. But the chances of him stepping out increase greatly because of the amount of chicks who are throwing their panties at these dudes. Somebody else who says, ma'am, LL came to my hometown in the 80s. My aunt, her friends, and I met LL at a local donut shop in California. He was so cool and friendly with us. He brought me a donut and gave my aunt and friends tickets to the concert. I couldn't go. All in all, the next day, LL and a few people showed up at my Gigi's house the next morning, and my Gigi cooked breakfast for them. It was an amazing time for 8-year-old. An amazing time, I believe that's supposed to say. What an amazing experience, blah, blah, blah. So he got the number and address. Laugh out loud. That's what I'm thinking. Like, it should not have gotten that far. Blah, blah, blah. It was the 80s, like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, of course, they're trying to find some drama. Somebody else who says, all my family who got married in the 80s and 90s are still married. My parents are 40 years in. I want that 1990s forever love. Read a book to love you right kind of love. Yeah. Somebody else who says, one thing about my black sisters is that they'll ignore a seasoned woman giving them wisdom. But readily take advice from divorced or single women on how to handle their relationships. I mean, I'm shocked here, guys. I'm glued in. I'm noticing that this is on the Shade Room. We're seeing 5K likes here. People are brewing in the comment section. I can't believe it. Somebody else who says, this is going to go over a lot of women's head. Yeah. Another person who says she's a beautiful woman herself. Another person here added, she's stronger than I'll ever be. God bless him. Yeah. They're screwed. They are screwed. Not this wonderful couple here. I'm talking about you know who.